What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to episode 2 of Cooksey Media MMA. I want to talk about UFC Noche, or the Mexican Independence Day card with Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso, and the real star on this entire card that nobody's talking about, Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez is a beast. Yes, Tracy Cortez, who had the very public relationship with Brian Ortega. That is over, but she hasn't fought in a long time. But let's not think about when she fought last time. She fought Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto is an absolute beast. Somebody who was talked about as a future title contender. And Tracy got in there and stuffed her and didn't get submitted. And she fought her ass off. She did fight a little bit nervous. She was fighting in her hometown in Phoenix. But, I mean, she just delivers over and over. Like, when I first saw her fight, I was actually at the Dana White Contender Series when she won in that fight. That girl she brought in was a friend of Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and they really brought in Tracy Cortez to be, the one who gets showcased on, and she beat the crap out of that girl. I mean, and to the point where you're like, okay, you're signed. And she has not lost in the UFC. She has fought. She's had some struggles. She had a couple weight misses, but she's got it all figured out. And she's fighting Yasmin Jurevicius, the Canadian girl, who is also very underrated. I have no idea how she's not in the UFC top 15, but she's not. Tracy Cortez is ranked like 13. But just out of pure... Listen, this 125-pound women's division is boring. If you don't think it's boring or people don't care, why are they... They're having a championship fight on a regular fight. This is not a pay-per-view. I love Shevchenko. She's one of the best, if not the best, women's fighters ever. But nobody cares to watch her fight. They just don't. And I don't know why that is. And I have to agree. I don't really care that much when she fights. I think she lost the fight before Alexa Grasso, and then she lost to Grasso. That decision with the girl she fought before Grasso, I think she lost. And I think Grasso probably gets it done again. Shevchenko has gone into that denial where she says, like, oh, it was just not me that night. Well, that's 2 nights in a row where we've seen bad performances. And it's so hard to be on top of that mountain for that long. And she was so far ahead of everyone. But when you're the rabbit out front, it's easier to catch you and pass you. Just ask Israel Adesanya. It's so much harder when you're leading the way to stay out front than it is to catch from behind. And she has been caught. Can she revamp? Yeah, absolutely. But still, I don't know what it's going to take, but neither Grasso or Shevchenko really captivate anyone. Does anyone really care? I'll tell you what, you give Tracy Cortez a contender fight or a title fight after what she does. The fact that she's on the preliminary card of this is ridiculous. Put her on the main card. That's just stupid. Put her on the main card. She is a superstar. That's what we want in this sport. We want superstars. We want people who can transcend. And say what you want about Tracy Cortez. That girl can fight, and that girl is a star. If she just gets 1 or 2 big wins, she could take that division to a whole new level. You won't have them on free events if Tracy Cortez is your champion, which that could easily happen. If you give her, she gets past Yasmin, put her in there with somebody, a number one contender's fight, much like how Sean O'Malley was fighting top 10 guys and then he fought Peter Yan. Now he's the champion. Do the same route for Tracy Cortez. Guess what? They're both from Arizona, so it makes sense. The best fight on this card is Jack de la Madalena. I don't know how to say his name. JDM? Jack de la Madalena? Yeah, sorry, Jack. I don't know how to say your name very well. I hope I got it right. Versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is always a treat to fight. How do you not like Kevin Holland? The dude talks. He fights. He is just a talent, man. And after his last win, yes, he took out... who did he take out? Michael Chiesa. Chiesa's a badass. Chiesa's somebody who had title aspirations, and Kevin shut him down. And people talk about how good Wonderboy looked in his last fight. Well, he was getting his ass kicked until Holland broke his hand and still refused to take Wonderboy down because they had some sort of a gentleman's agreement to stay on their feet and just battle. Either way, that he would have had a 2-fight win streak had he done that. Had he not let his ego get the best of him. But I think he learned from that, and I don't expect him to make that mistake again. I look for him to beat Jack whichever way he chooses. If Jack has anything for him on the feet, he'll go to the ground. And, don't think that Kevin Holland doesn't have ground game. That Darce choke that he has is nasty. And now to Raul Rosas, I think is his name, the youngest kid on the UFC on the roster, the one that was signed at like 16. And this is a tough one. So you take a kid like Raul. It's not that he's not ready for the UFC, because he's absolutely skill-wise ready for the UFC. It's like when you bring a quarterback from college that's like had 1 year in college, and you bring him up and you just throw him in the pros. Sometimes they do good, but you run the risk of ruining them. You absolutely can ruin an athlete if you force them to go up too fast. You force them to go up there, and I think Raul Rosas is at danger of this. After losing his last fight, gassing out, it does weird things to your confidence. And I'm not saying he's ruined or anything like that, or even that this was a bad decision. I'm saying this is one to watch. He needs this fight so badly to go his way. And if I'm the UFC, I keep trying to find guys. It is hard in the UFC because there are no such thing as they say, cans. There's no cans in the UFC. There's no easy fights in the UFC. Once you hit the big show, that's it. There's no developing. And that's why it's so hard when you bring a kid up there at that age who, like I said, skill-wise, he's ready. But mentally, is he ready? Can he handle the ups and downs, battle through? And, he runs the risk of, if he doesn't win this fight, becoming a journeyman. Will he be like Sage Northcutt? Sage was Super Sage, and then all of a sudden he's gone. It's hard to peak so early, to peak before you're actually at your physical and mental peak. And, we've seen it work, but we've also seen catastrophic effects. I'll be watching that one closely. If he can't bounce back, we might have some issues with him. He loses this one and then maybe one more. And we're talking about not only, not the youngest champion ever, but can he even make it as a UFC fighter? But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for subscribing to the new channel. I appreciate it. I love talking UFC, and watch out for Tracy Cortez. She is a badass, and I'll bet you I can get her on the show. Yeah, I got some connections. I've actually hung out with Tracy. She's a cool chick. So anyway, that's it, guys, and I'll catch you later.